What's up, what's up? It's time for Done Way Past Funny with your host, G.D. Fenderson. Join us as we discuss the art, science, and business of comedy with comedians and comedian adjacent. With this episode's guest, John Kenneth. It's time to get down and get dope with Done Way Past Funny. Hi, I'm G.D. Fenderson, Certified Forensic Humourist and host of Done Way Past Funny. Thank you for joining us as we continue our interview with comedian John Kenneth. Enjoy.
My first comedy show, first time I did stand-up at a major club was in New York City, and I had my family come, some friends, and so it was a full house, and it was around the time of the spelling bee, the National Spelling Bee, and I did this joke on how the names of the kids are harder to spell than the words they give them. And exactly, right? So I had this whole routine, and I've done it in front of people, and then I do it in front of a New York City young woke crowd.
Oh.
And
Did they have to give you protection to get out of there?
My daughters were like this. I mean, it was crickets, and that was the first time I ever played that club. It was Broadway, and I did 5 minutes, so that took like 2.5 minutes. So then like another 2.5 to go. So I was like, so I pivoted and I did some other stuff, got some left, but they were just appalled. I mean, they were just like, it was so un-PC, right? So I mean, I'm pretending I'm one of the. I mean, it's horribly un-PC, right? So it was in terms of reaction, it was an absolute freaking bomb. Okay?
I'm gonna tell you now, I don't know the concept. I mean, the concept is hilarious to me. I like that.
Yeah, and it's a funny routine. I'll do a follow up with you after I finish the story. So the next day I had to go out to LA, and I'm at the airport, and the phone rings, and it's the guy who manages the club, and because he was there watching, these new comics. These are a whole group of new comics coming up, including me, and I'm like, hey man, I go, oh man, that didn't go over too well, and he goes, yeah, he goes, it's not the joke that you probably say to a woke crowd. He goes, but I thought it was really well. I think it was to you. I thought it was a great. He's like, he saw potential in the joke, but maybe read the room a little more.
Right, yeah.
So I've been going back. I've been playing Broadway ever since. So he's like, no, just maybe don't do that joke. So okay. So fast forward, one of my dear friends, a guy named Andrew Kennedy, who's an incredible comic. He's a cruise ship comic. He literally lives on cruise ships, and he's traveling the world and doing comedy, and he's so funny. He was one of my teachers when I took comedy at Stress Factory. Anyway,
what was it? Andrew what?
Andrew Kennedy.
Oh, Kennedy.
He is so funny and very successful. And so I sent him that joke that I was going to do at Broadway, and he got back to me. He's like, oh my God, this is like fantastic. And he was helping me kind of clean it up. And I told him that it bombed and all that. And he said, can I use that joke on the cruise ship?
Yeah, because there's two different audiences. They probably won't
like MAGA versus woke, right?
Right.
Because it's a MAGA joke. I mean, it's if you're on PC, or anyone who's on PC, it doesn't have to be MAGA, and it's right up your alley. So I'm like, absolutely. He goes, I'll even give you credit. So he sent me the clip. I think he posted on his Facebook page with his phone behind him, a packed house.
Yeah,
and he was like, my friend John Kenneth, he loves the spelling bee, and then he goes on to tell this joke, and the place erupted. I think they thought it was so freaking funny. I'm like, there you go, It's the crowd, totally different crowd.
Yeah, I've had that reaction with it was one of my introductions. I was doing a clean comedy show,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
so
that joke probably wouldn't have made a clean comedy show.
so with the clean comedy show, my introduction was, I said, I'm G.D. Fenderson. My pronouns are paid way too much money, and my amateur nouns are uncoachable or something like that. And see, you're laughing, and I got nothing.
Oh,
They nothing. They just, and I said, okay, you didn't like that. How about this? I said, I'm G.D. Fenderson. I said, I'm G.D. Fenderson. I've had a pretty rough life for a white guy. But for a black guy, it's been fantastic. And they laughed at that. I said, okay, now I know where we can go. I said, look, I was told this was a clean show. And now I know we can go there.
They want some dirt.
And after that, once they gave me that permission, I said, okay, now I can go.
See, that's good. See, I don't think a white guy can get away doing it in reverse. Like you could say that. If a white guy were to come out and say, like, my life is pretty good as a black guy, and then I think people would be like, oh. I really think they'd be offended.
Well, I guess it would depend, because I know I think a black crowd might think it was funny, depending on how it was delivered.
Totally agree.
Yeah, if he wasn't being condescending, right? If he was saying it like, look, I know what you go through, without saying that, it's just like, I feel you, I've been there,
right?
Because
I know I'm white, so I'm just gonna hit you over the head with this.
Yeah, because poor is poor. Poor is poor. Okay, and poor does not care what color you are. So you say, I've had a pretty good life for a black guy. And, people are like, yeah.
See, that's funny. That's good. You're right. I think you're right, because it's so dissonant in the room that would have probably elicited a reaction.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna play a series of clips, a series of jokes from, and you can tell us about where you were and so forth when we're done.
Okay.
It's about a minute and a half at that. All right, here we go.
People are so lazy when they go food shopping, right? No one wants to put shit back when they don't want it anymore. You ever see that? Like, I went to get my kid a box of Lucky Charms, and sitting next to it was a bottle of douche. And I'm thinking, now, at what point in the shopping experience did someone go, I'm not going to clean my vagina today, so I'll just put the douche here in the kid's cereal aisle, just in case someone else wants it. What kid wants a bottle of douche?
Being a parent, you think about it, it's like being the CEO of your own company, right? Except all your employees hate your guts. And they got no respect for you, zero, right? And all they do is file grievances, They want higher wages, better benefits, more paid vacation, better living conditions, right? If they don't get what they want, they go up to their room and go on strike. And you can't fire their sorry asses because they're under contract for life. It's like our kids have their own union.
You can DNA test your dog now to find out what breed it is. Oh, it's fantastic. You guys ever do that? You swab your dog's cheek and you send it in and they'll tell you what kind of dog it is. So we did that. We swabbed the dog's cheek. We sent it in. We got the DNA test back. We found out he's half shepherd, half chow. I'm like, all right. We also found out he's wanted in 7 states.
For what, though? You didn't say what his crime was.
Yeah, well, I think that's the imagination. That was some of my early, like when I just started out doing comedy. That was at, I think, Stress Factory in Bridgeport, Connecticut. 2 different shows, 2 different shirts. So that's clean comedy, right? I could get away with that, except for that one word I used, but that's fairly clean.
Yeah, well, also now there's a thing called dry bar comedy, and they are very strict about what you can and cannot say.
Exactly, very funny comedians do that. Yeah, my buddy Andrew Kennedy did that.
Yes, I keep forgetting to reach out to them.
Yeah, I think they're in Utah.
Yeah, they are. I have a few friends who've done their shows. Yeah, and I've watched their specials and even promoted their specials.
Yeah.
and I know I can be as clean as them.
Oh yeah. And I think it's like a 45-minute set or something like that.
Yeah, maybe 30 to 40, something like that. And I'm and not only that, they do 2 shows. They record 2 shows and then record the best of, so to speak.
Oh, interesting. So you do 2 separate shows and they take the best
Yeah,
of?
yeah.
Got it. Okay. Do they make you wear like the same outfit so they can use different clips, or
I don't know the answer to that because I wear the same outfit anyway. Honestly, I do. I wear this shirt.
Oh, is that right?
Well, not
that's
this
your comedy outfit.
Yeah, I wear. Well, I have like 5 of these shirts. I have like 5 of these shirts.
Same exact shirt.
It's the exact same shirt. Yeah.
That's kind of like Einstein. Didn't he have like the same outfit that he just?
And that's the same thing. So I don't want to have to think about things.
You don't have to think about it, right?
I don't have to think about it. It's like I know what I'm going to wear. I know what shoes I'm wearing. I know what shirt I'm wearing. I know what pants I'm wearing. I have 5 pairs of the same pants. I have 5 of the same shirt. I have 3 of the same pairs of shoes, or 2 now because I ruined 1 pair. So I had 2 pairs of the same shoes, and I have to make them last because they don't make them anymore. Oh. They did. They stopped making that shoe.
Yeah.
And so, but I only wear them when I go on stage. So it's not like it gets a lot of wear and tear.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. No, so there's this woman. Her name is Gladys Simon. She runs the Comic Strip Live Room. She has her own. She does her show on Thursday nights called Gladys Simon Presents, and so she's been great. She's not only is she a funny comic, but she's literally something right out of like a movie. She's been managing that room for like 35 years. She helped find Zach Galifianakis, Jim Gaffigan, some really comics that kind of come through her wings and, help promote and obviously going on to do big things. But she told me that she wants me to wear, when I do stand up there, and I'm hosting there tomorrow night. She's like, you have to wear a blue shirt. I'm like, okay. So she insists that I should wear a blue shirt. So
is that a thing? Is that an aesthetic thing? Like she look at your eyes and go, no, he has to wear a blue shirt? Or is it like,
I don't know. She's like, I tell my comics, you got to wear a blue shirt. I'm like, okay. I'm wearing a blue shirt tomorrow. So.
All right. Well, that's not something I'm going to be able to accommodate.
Yeah.
I'll tell her I'm wearing a blue shirt.
Okay.
It's really dark blue. This is navy blue. What?
That's
black?
Right.
You think no, this is not black. This is black. This is navy blue. No.
Black's the new navy blue.
That's right.
Navy blue is the new black.
So who are your influences? Well, first, let's go. Oh yeah, who are your influences?
My influences, here's the weird thing about comedy that I found, like musically, and I'll get to your question. Musically, you can say your influences are, and it'll bleed into your music. Like I'm a classic rock guy, like 70s, 80s classic rock, early 90s. And so my music that I wrote is very much in that vein, kind of a little more chunk guitar, a little more structured, a little more, not a lot of minor chords, kind of the same structured chorus, right. Bridge, verse, chord, but with comedy, it's really weird because, and that's a great question, GD, because I have some favorite comedians. Like I love Sebastian Maniscalco, find him absolutely hysterical. Jim Gaffigan, I love Jim Gaffigan. Sam Kinison, Rodney, love Rodney.
When you say Rodney, you mean Rodney Dangerfield.
Eddie Murphy. So those are like kind of classic rock kind of comics, like Sebastian, obviously. Nate Bargatze is, I love watching him. Mike Birbiglia is another comic. But so when I first started doing comedy, and this was kind of a trap, and Gladys Simon, was one who told me, she's like, do not get up there and pretend you're another comic. Don't try and emulate. Like you can do that in music, not to say you're copying them, but you can stylistically shape your music around their music.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, oh, that sounds a little bit like a little Penny mixed with a little of this and that. Like, well, yeah, because it is. But with comedy, you can't really go like, I'm not going to come out and pretend I'm Sebastian Maniscalco and start talking like the Italian guy, because he owns that lane. But so it's been really hard to like answer that question in the sense of the influence and like what it's doing to influence my writing or my style. But what I've, because what we do as comics, and you probably did the same thing, GD, is you try and find your voice, your style, how you going to deliver your joke, right? Because delivery is 99%. You can have a really funny joke, but if you don't deliver it, it's just not funny. And we found that out, So I've been when I started doing comedy, it was like, who do I want to emulate in terms of not copy, but who's more the kind of the style that I want to be on stage? Like, I'm not going to be the Sam Kinison, I'm not going to be the Rodney, and I'm not going to be Sebastian, who's very physical, but I find myself being more, and I'm not being like Nate Bargatze in the sense that he's a storyteller. He's not really a joke teller, but he's a storyteller, but he's got that Southern drawl, that kind of, that dumb, it's self-professed dumb look, kind of the buffoon husband kind of thing. And he just freaking nails it. So I can't be that, but so I'm like, how do I want to start telling my jokes? Because I try and be myself, but I also, if you're saying who am I kind of emulating more, probably a little bit more like Mike Birbiglia. We're a little bit more like Americana-ish, with some a little bit more energy. So kind of in that vein, I love comics that have energy. Because when we were talking yesterday on my show, we had a great show. We could have talked for 2 hours because we had this great energy going. You and I are kind of very energetic people. We deliver loud. We deliver, kind of in your face.
And we did a couple of cook before the show.
Exactly, we did that too, which helps a lot. So I find what works for me. Like I had a show last Saturday night at Broadway Comedy Club, and it was a packed house. And I got up there, had some new material, and I was and they laughed at the first joke. And when they laugh at the first joke, it's like it literally it's like a drug. It's like not to say that you own them, but like, okay, they're giving you the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Keep going. I'm like, oh, I'm going. And so I had a great set. And I found that I was in their face a little bit. I wasn't but I was very energetic. And they help drive that. And when the crowd is really into it, they bring out this energy in me that gets me a little bit more animated, And so a very long answer to your question, but it's kind of like a combination. I love Sebastian's energy. I like Mark Birbiglia's storytelling and his kind of laid back look and all that. And if I could combine those guys into my delivery, that would be like mint.
Okay, now what did you play? What instrument did you play in the band?
I was a guitarist. Yeah.
Okay, what did you take from playing in the band? What did you bring to comedy from performing music?
It made me really be comfortable on stage. Yeah. I mean, now the difference is though, I don't, it's like Springsteen, you'll really ever see him unless he's got his guitar on him because he feels he needs that. So all of a sudden you don't have like an instrument. Right. So you're just holding a mic like, I'm so naked. But I guess it just kind of helped me just work on, just being comfortable in front of people looking at me, performing, energy, things like that. So it helped a lot. And also I got to tell you, the radio show helps me with my and not only Weeby 108, because I'm kind of writing my own little bits, and I try and be somewhat entertaining on Weeby, as opposed to just, like if there's a Taylor Swift bit, I like to try and make it a little entertaining, a little more fun, as opposed to just like, Taylor and Kelsey are at a restaurant. Okay, here's song. It's like, no, I want to kind of like, how do I make this funny? Or like, people go like, oh, that's kind of good. So it kind of helps me with my witticism and my cadence, and things like that.
I think one of the things that I take from doing solo stuff, because I have a live thing that I do on Sundays, Church of Last Resort.
Right.
And even when something is dead on funny, when you're just by yourself, nobody's laughing.
Right.
And you don't get that feedback. You just have to be confident
Right.
that what you're saying is funny,
Right.
because you don't know. And you don't know what they're laughing at. It's like, because when you're doing it live, you can say something and you get the feedback. And if you get the feedback you want, if you get what you want or better, you're like, oh, I can keep this going. If you get something less than what you're expecting, or really worse, or nothing at all, it's like, okay, time to recalculate. Okay, time to recalibrate.
Right.
They're not buying the non-PC. Oh, okay, let's try this.
I know.
When you get in trouble, do you have like any go-to jokes that you like? Okay, these are like, they're just stock jokes that you have like in the back of your head somewhere that you could just yank out.
I just kind of go through my set, like if a joke doesn't work, I'll just go to the next joke, and so I don't try and like whip out like, oh, you're gonna love this one. I'm hoping that maybe the next joke is as funny, but we've been there, you come off of your set and you're like, yeah, none of them worked. So okay, I have to figure that one out,
Well, it's now.
But then sometimes, but then it's weird because sometimes I'll do a same joke at another show and it works. So I mean,
Oh, you mean like a joke like I don't know, the names being more difficult than. You mean something like, if someone were to write a joke like that? You mean?
Yeah. I have to figure out. I'll find a venue to do that. I'm probably not going to do that here in New York City anytime soon, but I'll find a venue for that one.
I don't. I was in Ohio, and the host knew that I had a thing. I knew that I had a joke about guns are for pussies. And I think, no, I say cowards. I don't call them pussies. I say cowards.
Okay. Right.
And he goes, don't do that gun today. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then he goes, they
carry guns.
Yeah. And I said, really? He goes, yeah, don't do it. So I did it. I had them cracking up.
There you go.
Yeah, because it's not, see, it starts off like I said, it starts off like it almost sounds judgmental.
Right.
But what I'm saying, because basically, and this is just how but it's also how I really feel. If you have a gun, it's because you're afraid of something. Even if you're hunting, even if you're a hunter, you are afraid to hunt that deer with your bare hands. Okay.
Yes, you're not going to have the same results.
Right. You are afraid. Yeah, I'll go bear hunting with your bare hands, because the bear, that's all he has.
That's right.
Your nails against his nails, your teeth against his teeth.
That's
Okay.
Right.
I said, now, because I said, and I can say this because I come from a people who used to hunt lions and elephant with sticks and stones, and they fed their families with them.
Recently?
I mean, think of the Africans. They had no, not recently. I mean, recently is like
last week. This happened.
Yeah, just last week. We dug a pit in the yard and we chased the elephant into the pit.
I'm throwing stones at this thing. I got him.
That's right. Then we felt bad and we pulled him out by the trunk.
You should see how he got his head off. It was crazy.
We should see the trophy I got. No,
I'm just pounding his head.
So I do that and I win them over.
So I think, first of all, that's great, and also because they, as a gun owner, or it's like I'm Jewish, right? And I have this bit, and I do this, and it tends to work.
So you don't have a gun; you have a space laser.
Exactly what I have. That's exactly what I have, because we don't need guns. We have God on our side. All right, who needs a gun? But
you and your chosen people.
We're so chosen. So chosen. It's so sad. So sad. I feel sorry for everybody else. But my jokes work better with more when there are Jews in the room, because it's almost like a self-deprecating. They almost take it as self-deprecating. As your audience with the guns is, they're probably like, oh yeah, oh totally. It's almost like a self-deprecating way they're looking at it. when you're telling that joke, they're like, oh my God, yeah, you know. So they're not like insulted, like how dare you? They're like
Well,
totally
even the ones that were insulted, they see other people laughing, and it's like, okay, I'm not going to be a pussy about this.
right, exactly.
I don't want them to know I'm mad, you
Right.
know. But but it's again, and so even if they like, see, I have a theory about comedy, and my theory is that there are 12 types of people who laugh at 12 different types of things in the audience, you know. And so they're not all, yeah, there's some things that everybody's going to laugh at.
Right.
But there's some things that only, let's say, 80% of the people are going to laugh at, or 30%, or 10%. Or maybe they don't want to be there at all.
Right.
They got dragged there, you know. We never go out together. I get tickets for the show and you don't want to go. It's like, all right, I'll go. For God, just shut up. I'll go. And then he's sitting up there like this in the front row and he doesn't want to laugh.
Right.
Okay. You know, and so, you know, you find something. And the truth is, like when I do an hour or 90-minute set, nobody's going to remember the whole set.
No.
Nobody's going to, even like some of the 15-minute sets, nobody remembers the whole set. But there's going to be like 2 or 3 moments that they're going to take away with them. And because those 2 or 3 moments, they're going to think they had a good time the whole time.
Right.
You know, if it doesn't suck, you know, it's not if it sucked and you only had one joke, that's different. But if you have like a entertaining show and there's like 3 moments that they can take away with them, they're gonna count that whole show as a winner. And they're going to remember those moments and go, that was a good show.
Right.
Because they're not going to remember, and even those 3 moments that they remember, they're not going to remember them the way you told them.
Totally.
Absolutely. You know, so, and that's my premise when I do comedy, is that nobody's going to remember everything I do. Everybody's going to want to take away something. And if the show is a general success, they will have had a good time because they took something away with them. That's my premise about how comedy works. I could be wrong because I didn't have any formal education when it comes to learning to be a comedian.
Totally. No, I hear you. And you know, let's face it, when you go to a comedy show, I mean, it's kind of a bizarre concept in that you're paying money and then you got to buy drinks and all that for someone to make you laugh. I mean, you're literally like, please, I put out some hard-earned money. Please make me laugh. I'm here for you to make me laugh. Anybody, for God's sake, make me laugh, you know? So at the end of the day, a successful evening for them is they laughed, you know? And to your point, they didn't come there to try and memorize oh, I know, I can never remember a joke. No one's walking around going like, oh, I saw the comedian. Check out some of the jokes he told. Because you're right, people will just forget and all that, but they want you to elicit an emotion, which is why comedy is extremely challenging. Because you're, like I said, on music, if you want someone just to bop their head, and that's easy, you know, anyone can be a musician and just exactly, you know. But you're talking about a comedy, you're talking about, you know, eliciting laughter, exactly, which is really hard to do. And you know, it's hard to this day. It's been hard from when I first started. I don't say it's getting easier, but, you know, as we progress and we kind of find our voice and our point of view, we kind of know our lanes and what works and what doesn't, you know, and then we're building off jokes and things like that. It's getting definitely more comfortable to do it. But man, it's tough. It's really hard.
I had, I was after a show, and I think I talked about, I'll talk about anything, honestly. And, because I believe that everybody's going through something, and sometimes it's not our fault and we need to get past it so we will move on. So I'll talk about the things that people don't want to talk about. And at the end of this one show, a couple came up to me and said, we want to thank you. We weren't going to come out tonight. Our son died.
Oh,
and they go, but you got us laughing. And
see?
And yeah, and they said, we really needed that laugh. And if they were the only 2 people who laughed that night, that would have been a
That was
reward.
worth it.
But yeah, but everybody was like everybody was laughing, but they wanted me to know that they had lost their son like maybe a couple of months earlier. But when you're a parent, there's not a
Right?
too soon, right? It's
No, they're supposed to bury us, not the other way around.
exactly.
Yeah.
Then it's out of order when that happens.
Yeah.
And so, but they came up and said, but we really enjoyed ourselves. We got us laughing, you know.
See, that's great. I've had actually the opposite effect where I've done a show
And the
someone
kids
came back
killed
next
themselves.
week and said, my husband actually killed himself because of you, but I actually want to thank you.
Yes, yeah. Our son finally left the house.
I've
We
been
finally
praying
got
for
our
this
son.
moment. That's why I got tickets, because I knew you were so bad that he would actually kill himself. So,
And now we can use that spare room.
that's right. Let me buy you a drink.
I've been wanting a sewing room for so long.
Exactly. You know, I have no idea where his Peloton went. That's so weird. It just disappeared.
Hi, I'm GD Fenderson, Certified Forensic Humorist and host of Done Way Past Funny. Thank you for watching our continued interview with comedian John Kenneth. And please come back to watch more of our interview with John Kenneth. And when you come back to join us, bring a friend.